Howdy, y'all. Just checking in today. Today, I want to talk about just the importance of paying attention to your body and why we do it. Um, our subconscious minds speak a lot to us through our bodies. It's constantly pulling at it, grabbing at it. So even though we're physically in control, make our hands move, our mouths move, um, our brains utilize that connection to help get things out. And so, like, sometimes you'll be going through, a tough time, and then you'll notice your shoulders and your neck are really, really tight. And that's just kind of like the end stage of what you're experiencing. If you were to melt all that away and trace it all back to its like bare, basic initial starting point, there's like this feeling inside, maybe in your stomach, maybe somewhere else. And this feeling is just like trying to get your attention. But because we live in a world that's like constant stress all the time, we don't really get a chance to like revisit that. Maybe like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, when we didn't have social media, you would have stressors, but then like you'd go home and you'd be able to, fight for food, survival, whatever. But it wasn't this ongoing, nonstop stressor that's just constantly breaking down the body. And I read an interesting thing that said that neurological diseases are one of the quickest growing causes of death. I believe it was in the US, but it might be in the world, probably the US. But I thought it was just so interesting that like these neurological issues probably combined with like what is going into our food and just the constant stress and like what it does to your mind over time. And I think that like in order to be able to kind of undo all that, we have to be able to acknowledge what's going on inside of us and acknowledge like how we're doing so that at the end of every day we can fight that and combat that. So what I've been noticing is that like let's say like right here I've got a tight muscle, which I do. I will press on it when I'm sitting down and just like closing my eyes. It's easier for me to kind of come at peace with my eyes closed. Some people can do it with their eyes open, but I'll press here. And then I'll ask myself, like, why is this hurting? And then I start getting thoughts and reasons coming out. But then the muscle itself is still tight. So then I'll just like take another breath and then I'll ask a little bit softer, like, why is this muscle tight? And then sometimes I'm still getting more logic and reason. And when like you get things like, oh, it's hurt because like you lifted the kids and you carried a bunch of groceries or, you did a workout wrong. Like those are all things that are like not what I'm looking for. And that's just like your conscious mind trying to fill in a gap in the story. But if you start remembering an experience or you start explaining like, this is hurting because my wife, when she does this, it makes me feel this way. Those are the things you want to continue on and follow on. And so I'm pressing here, I'm thinking about the pain that I have been caused from my childhood. And then I ask, well, why is it there? Like, why does that make it hurt? Oh, well, I look for more thoughts that are along the lines of, well, it hurts me. It makes me sad that people treat me this way. And now all of a sudden you're getting personal and you're getting specific. And it's not like some story about like an actual event that caused your this part to hurt. And the location of where the pain is always super important. So like left side is going to be like more hurts and pain, sadness is because that's where your heart is. But like you might have something on the right side that's really tight. Well, maybe the right side is activated because of the left side. And these are all things to explore as you start to get to know yourself. So I just want to encourage everybody today, like just take a step back, sit down and just like lightly press while taking deep breaths and taking deep exhales specifically will help you understand like what your body is trying to tell you, because the more you understand about your body, the better you're going to be feeling and the better you're going to be able to handle situations when they start coming up, because we all have weak spots, we all have blind spots, and this is a good way to kind of start rounding in those spots. It's going to take some time, but over time you will be able to develop a sense of exactly what's happening in the moment. And if you have a sense of what's happening, then you're going to be able to respond quicker. So when you start getting in those situations that are causing pain or anxiety, you're going to notice it and you're going to stop it right away. Like, oh yeah, it's because of my childhood or because of this. And it's easy to then take a step back from the situation, because situations of themselves shouldn't be stressful. Nothing the outside world throws at you should really affect us, but because we all have pain, we all have hurts, we all respond emotionally more often than we'd like. And so this is just a good way to help start breaking those barriers. So I just want to encourage all of you, just go ahead, sit down, do some, reflection, do an inventory of your body and see where it takes you. All right. Leave some comments below. Love to hear from you. Peace.